Hi everyone, this is Catherine Winter with Ride EquiSafe, and I am here today to show you how to do the reset on a FreeJump or Penelope air vest. With the latest versions that have come out from FreeJump, which also makes Penelope, they've tried to make it a bit easier to do the reset. On the previous versions, the bottom of the chamber from the trigger would come completely out, the spring would come out, and you'd be worried about getting those things back in. So I feel like there definitely have been improvements with these versions. So very first thing that you want to do is take your Allen key, and most of the time I find it's easier to put it in this way versus this way, especially if this is the first time that you're resetting, because the triggers tend to be a little bit tight the very first time. So you're gonna put your Allen key in and you are gonna start turning to loosen this up. And one thing that I want you to notice is you might be able to see there's a little notch here. And as you are loosening this up, that notch is moving upwards. And the other thing that you see is that this housing is moving downwards. So as I'm unscrewing it, you see this gap is going to continue to get bigger. And it doesn't matter how much I unscrew, this bottom piece is not going to come out, which again is one of the nice improvements. So once I've done that, I'm pushing my little key ball, opening down, getting it aligned there. Now, one of the other nice things that FreeJump has done is they've created this little housing that makes it a bit easier to get the key ball back in line and hold it in place as you are resetting. So now I've got this in place, I can just hold this down, and back in my Allen wrench goes. And now I am going to tighten this back up. Now here is one of the tricky parts to this reset is if you pull this all the way down, you also have to make sure that when you are tightening it back up, that it is completely straight. If you are trying to tighten this and it feels like it gets stuck, and you can kind of tell by, again, looking at that notch and making sure as you're tightening it that it's pulling down. If you feel it getting tight and that notch isn't moving, then I would look at the side of the housing. Let me see if I can pull this back a little bit more for you to see it. You want to make sure that this area is going straight up. I find that sometimes it can be a little bit crooked and you just have to play with it a little bit. So we're going to keep tightening. I'm going to turn my Allen wrench around just to get a little bit more leverage. And I know that I am good and done when that little notch is all the way at the bottom and there's no more gap between the housing of the trigger, and everything is perfectly aligned on the back side. I see that the seams are lined up. So again, the biggest issue that you might have when tightening back up is that this isn't fully lined up, and don't panic. Just make sure that you play with it a little bit to be able to screw it back in alignment, but definitely double check when you're done to make sure that it is fully aligned. Now that this is done, all we have to do is pop in a new canister and we are ready to ride again. Thanks so much. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out by commenting on this video.